Welcome to this explainer. Today we're doing something super exciting. We're going to build your rock-solid foundation for speaking Spanish. You know, if you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by language learning, you're absolutely in the right place. We're taking a beautiful, highly logical language, one that's spoken by literally nearly 500 million native speakers around the globe, and we're handing you the exact building blocks you need to start speaking it right away. No fluff, no endless, boring grammar charts. We're just focusing on the core structural pieces you need to start making sense of Spanish right now.
So, the big question. Can you really learn to confidently introduce yourself in Spanish in under 10 minutes? The answer is an absolute, undeniable yes. Look, as focused learners, we just don't have time for endless theory. We're going to skip all that fluff, focus entirely on what actually works, and build this skill block by block. Trust me, by the end of our short time together, you'll be reading, understanding, and even structuring full sentences about yourself.
Okay, let's dive into this. We've got a clear 5-part blueprint for this explainer. 1. First steps in greetings. 2. The pronunciation cheat code. 3. Action verbs made easy. 4. Countries, cities, and origins. And 5. Putting your story together.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, First Steps and Greetings.
Because, let's face it, every great story and really every great conversation has to start with a warm, welcoming greeting. This is our very first building block, and honestly, it's way easier than you might think. Here's the most famous Spanish word of all: hola. Now notice the golden rule here. The letter H, which is called H in Spanish, is completely silent. It's literally never pronounced. So we aren't breathing out an H sound, we just say a simple, bright, and easy hola. Go ahead, try saying it out loud right now wherever you are. Hola. Nailed it.
Now what's really interesting about this slide is that strange symbol at the beginning. Yep, the inverted exclamation mark. Spanish does something absolutely brilliant here. It uses this punctuation mark at the beginning of a sentence to act as a kind of warning sign. It's basically telling you, hey, add some emotion before you even start reading this phrase. It's this awesome visual cue that makes reading out loud so much easier and way more expressive.
So once you've said hello, you naturally need to introduce yourself, right? Here we have a quick comparison of 2 perfectly correct ways to do just that. You can say me llamo Juan, which literally translates to my name is Juan, or you can simply say soy Juan, meaning I am Juan. Both work beautifully. But take a real close look at the phrase me llamo. Do you see that double L right there? In Spanish, that double L is pronounced softly, almost like a Y or a very soft li in English. So it sounds a lot like mi llamo. Try it with your own name, me llamo, or soy.
Moving right along to Section 2, the pronunciation cheat code.
Look, I really don't want you to think of Spanish phonetic rules as this tedious grammar you just have to memorize. Instead, think of them as an empowering, highly logical cheat code that literally unlocks the pronunciation of the entire language for you. And here is your absolute cheat sheet. These 3 steps will allow you to correctly pronounce almost any Spanish word you ever encounter. Step 1. If a word ends in a vowel or the letters N or S, you simply stress the second to last syllable. Step 2. If a word ends in any other consonant, you stress the very last syllable. And step 3. What if a word naturally breaks these first 2 rules? Simple. Spanish uses a written accent mark. It visually tells you exactly where to put the stress. It totally takes all the guesswork out of reading.
Let's see this cheat code in action. Check out the word trabajar, which means to work. It ends in R, right? That's a consonant that isn't N or S. So, following rule number 2, we stress the last syllable. Tra-ba-jar. Perfectly logical. Now contrast that with the capital of Colombia, Bogotá. It ends in a vowel, the letter A. Rule 1 says we should stress the second to the last syllable, but the city is called Bogotá. Because it breaks the natural rule, Spanish throws in that handy written accent mark on the final A, so we literally never, ever get it wrong.
All right, Section 3, action verbs made easy.
Knowing nouns and names is fantastic, but verbs are really what make our story come alive. And the wonderful thing about Spanish is that adding action to your sentences follows this very predictable, highly satisfying visual pattern. Notice the visual math of verbs here. Spanish dictionary verbs, the infinitive forms, they always end in ar, er, or ir. To say that you are doing the action, you simply make the cut. You drop that ending and you add an o. Trabajar becomes trabajo. Vivir becomes vivo. And this brilliantly illustrates another amazing feature of Spanish. You don't even need to say the word for I, which is yo. Why? Because that o at the end of trabajo already screams to the listener, I am doing this action. It's just incredibly efficient.
And because it's so efficient, we can start stringing things together immediately. Look at this sentence right here. Trabajo y estudio mucho. To connect two actions, we just use the letter I, which in Spanish is pronounced exactly like a long E sound. So, trabajo y estudio means I work and study. And by dropping the word mucho right after the verb, we instantly expand our descriptive power. I work and study a lot. You guys, you're building complex sentences already.
Next up, Section 4, Countries, Cities, and Origins.
Now that we have our names and our actions down, we need to place our characters on a map to learn how to properly express location. It's actually very important to distinguish between where you are originally from and where you are located right now. Spanish handles this with just pristine logic. If you're stating your origin, your permanent roots, you say soy de, meaning I am from. For example, soy de México. But if you want to talk about your current location, where your feet are planted right this second, you use our verb for living, vivo en, meaning I live in.
Let's look at an example. Vivo en Colombia. So the crucial point is this. When pronouncing a word like vivo, that V nestled between the vowels doesn't have a harsh, buzzing English V sound. Instead, it sounds like a soft, smooth mix of a B and a V. It's a very relaxed, flowing phonetic sound. Vivo. Try saying it gently. Vivo en Colombia. Using that soft B/V mix is going to make your pronunciation instantly sound incredibly authentic.
And finally, Section 5, Putting Your Story Together. It is time to step back and look at the finished house. We're going to combine all of our newly acquired puzzle pieces into a cohesive, impressive narrative. Notice this beautiful 4-step scaffold we've got. We start with our emotional greeting, hola. Then we slot in our name, soy Elena. Next, our origin, soy de Colombia. And finally, our action and location, vivo en Bogotá y estudio. Notice how these aren't just isolated vocabulary words anymore. They smoothly flow into a confident, logically connected thought process.
And guys, here is the massive payoff. Literally just 10 minutes ago, this might have looked like a daunting foreign block of text to you, but look at it now. Hola, me llamo Juan. Soy de Argentina y vivo en Buenos Aires. Trabajo y viajo mucho. You can now effortlessly read and completely understand this complex paragraph. Hello, my name is Juan. I am from Argentina and I live in Buenos Aires. I work and travel a lot. You understand the grammar, you know the pronunciation rules, and you see the structural logic, all thanks to the rock-solid foundation we just built together.
As we wrap up the listen portion of this explainer, I want to teach you a really powerful way to show deep appreciation in Spanish. Muchísimas gracias, which means thank you very much. And this brilliantly illustrates how our written accent rule from step 2 perfectly saves the day one last time. The word muchísimas ends in an S, so rule 1 dictates we should stress the second to last syllable, but natural Spanish speakers stress the third to last syllable. Because it breaks the rule, we slap a visual accent mark right there on the I. The cheat code literally never fails.
So we've laid the bricks, we've set the foundation, and now I've got one final question for you. What is your Spanish story? I want to challenge you right now to use this exact blueprint we went over today to write your own introduction in your head, or hey, drop it down in the comments. Say hello, tell me your name, where you're from, where you live, and what you do. If you can master all this in just 10 minutes, imagine what you could unlock in an hour. Muchísimas gracias for learning with me today, and I'll see you in the next explainer.